The Young and the Restless scoop for Wednesday, September 17th reveals Sally Spectra will plead with Jack Abbott. Also coming up, Nikki Newman will grill Victor Newman. Plus, Billy Abbott will tell Kane Ashby he's on board with his plan. Y&R spoilers tease Sally will show up at the Abbott estate, looking for Jack. Diane Jenkins will assume it's about Billy. Jack might be the only person who can talk some sense into Billy, Sally will say. So, Diane will tell her she'll call Jack. On Kane's choo-choo train, he'll tell Billy all he has to do is say yes. But Billy will say Sally's got an issue with it and is worried about him hitching his wagon to him. Kane will ask if it'll be a deal-breaker for the two of them and warn him about sacrificing his relationship. If you want to back out, there's no hard feelings, Kane will add. Or you can do what I know you want to do. You can bet the house on yourself. A delusional Billy will say he can bring Sally around. I'm on board, all the way. So Kane will ask if his quest to get Chancellor back is all about Jill Abbott firing him. You don't get to speak to me on her behalf, an angry Billy will reply, because it's none of your business. Then Kane will bring up Billy's hatred for Victor. When people act on sheer emotion, they lose sight of the prize and make mistakes, he'll say. He'll add that Sally could turn on him if she thinks he's throwing her under the bus. You don't have to worry about Sally, Billy will reply. Give me the software, let me get to work, and we will both watch Victor Newman beg for mercy. At the park, Jack will tell Nikki he's worried about his brother. Billy seems to think Kane is the answer to all his dreams, and he's pushing away anyone who disagrees, including him. Jack will add Kane offered Billy the moon and the stars, and his brother handed his investment back. Then Victor will come along, and won't be thrilled to find his wife talking to his nemesis. But Jack will get a call from Diane, saying Sally needs to talk to him about Billy. So, Jack will tell Nikki he has to get going. After he leaves, Nikki will remind Victor that Kane is the enemy. She'll suggest he and Jack team up to defeat him, but Victor will say he's got Kane handled. So Nikki will ask him what his plan is. Victor will tell her Kane has no other option than to give him his secret weapon. What is the weapon? She'll ask. However, Victor will tell her not to worry, it'll all be over soon. As for Jack, he'll return home and Sally will tell him Billy's risking everything, including their relationship, to get Chancellor back. It's blinding him to all reason. Sally will say she feels like she's losing him. Jack will say they've been down this road with Billy before. He'll ask if it has anything to do with the Abbott Communications launch party being canceled. As of now, the company's dead in the water, Sally will reply. I care about Billy, that's why I'm here. She'll add that Kane's plan is illegal, and he wants to keep his hands clean. Jack will ask what it is. Kane has a new AI program that can get inside any company's cyber system and take control, she'll reply. However, Jack will say that's impossible. They have security systems set up to protect them. But Sally will say this thing is invisible and will make it look like the finances have been mismanaged. Then she'll tell them instead of attacking Newman Enterprises, Billy wants to use the AI as a threat against Victor to sign over Chancellor. Sally will add Billy also plans to get Victor to provide the funds for Abbott Communications that Jack pulled. Sally, I didn't pull the funds, he'll reply. Billy told me he didn't want my money. Sally will realize Billy lied to get her to go along with his crazy plan. What have I done? Why did I blow up my life for this? Diane will say he's pushing away everyone who cares about him. You are his brother. You have to do something, Sally will beg Jack. Finally, Jack will say Billy always goes his own way. And it's usually the wrong way, Diane will add. Sally will say it's serious. Billy could go to prison. I've cut him loose, Sally. He's going to have to sink or swim on his own, Jack will reply. Keep reading The Soap Scoop for Young and The Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. On The Young and the Restless, Kane is carrying a torch for his ex-wife Lily. and knows he has a long way to go to win back her trust after 6 years of using the identity of Aristotle Dumas. His discussion with Amanda was a highlight of Monday's episode, as he tries to figure out whether Lily has any lingering feelings for him. On Monday's episode of The Young and the Restless, Kane had an in-depth conversation with Amanda about what kind of relationship she has with Lily. Amanda told him Lily basically tolerates her, but she also believes that Lily feels some empathy toward her since Devon cheated on her with Abby when Amanda and Devon were a couple. Since Kane's big reveal as Aristotle Dumas in France, he has made it no secret that he still loves Lily and wants her back. So, even though Amanda acts as his attorney, Kane has now assigned her a task that has nothing to do with lawyering. He asked her to become better friends with Lily with one specific purpose in mind: to find out whether Lily still harbors any romantic feelings for him since their divorce. The look on Amanda's face told us she knows that Kane's plan is just going to create even more cracks in his already fractured relationship with Lily. Whether the Young and the Restless fans love Lily or hate her, we can all agree that she is good at being suspicious and asking a lot of questions. She was on high alert when Damien arrived in town, and she didn't trust him. Lily had good intentions, though, and was looking out for her cousin Nate at the time. She is still somewhat suspicious of Holden and doesn't fully trust him either, but mostly, Lily is doubtful of Audra because of her conniving ways, both past and present. And now, Lily is suspicious of Kane because he amassed a huge fortune in just 6 years under the mysterious identity of Aristotle Dumas, and he didn't even tell Lily and their children, Charlie and Maddie. Kane should realize Lily is going to wonder why Amanda all of a sudden wants to be friends with her. If Amanda starts asking Lily personal questions about her feelings for Kane, Lily is going to realize that Kane put Amanda up to this, and that Amanda is trying to pump Lily for information. And it's information Lily won't be comfortable sharing with Amanda. Lily will then go straight to Kane and ask him, "If you wanted to know how I feel about you, why didn't you just ask me yourself instead of secretly employing your lawyer to ask me?" Devon is also good at being suspicious and having a hard time trusting people whose actions just don't seem legitimate. He is already annoyed that his ex-girlfriend, Amanda, is working for Kane, after everything Kane put the Genoa City residents through when he invited them to France. So even if Lily doesn't become suspicious about Amanda's motives in befriending her, Devon definitely will be. This isn't going to end well for Kane, so we hope he has a plan B in mind if he wants to get back into Lily's good graces. Or maybe it would serve him better if he didn't come up with any plan at all, considering that his goal is to regain Lily's trust, and his plans are only going to make him look manipulative, and that will only push her further away from him. Adam Newman has been on his best behavior since reuniting with his ex-wife Chelsea, but young and restless Mark Grossman is teasing a return to the mercurial character's dark side in the not-too-distant future. The news that Bad Adam is back will come as a relief to young and restless fans who have lamented the complicated Newman losing his considerable edge and becoming a rather uninteresting by-the-book type and family man. One shouldn't have to bury the ruthless side of themselves to be accepted, especially as part of the Newman clan. So, it was a hopeful sign of things to come when Mark Grossman took to his Instagram story to tease an upcoming scene. In the photo, which doesn't have a caption, Grossman is located on the set of Neil's Jazz Lounge and is sporting a wide-eyed knowing expression, along with a split lip. It's not hard to imagine Adam squaring off in a fight with Billy down the line, considering he blames him for Sally's recent troubles. It wasn't that long ago the pair went at it in Society with Phyllis jumping into the fray to break up the melee. It's also not difficult to picture Adam getting sucker-punched for using Newman Media for something nefarious, although these days it's usually under his father's orders, not his own steam, as he's trying to be a better man for his reformed con ex-wife and current live-in love. Perhaps Adam will finally tangle with the most recently returned villain of the month, Kane Ashby. It's been frustrating to see his lack of involvement in the front-burner storyline. Whatever happens, it seems promising that we'll at least catch a glimpse of the old Adam, and that some drama is going to go down on Young and Restless. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of September 2026 reveal that Audra Charles will set herself up for an epic fail, while Claire Newman finds that she can't resist an intriguing offer. Michael Baldwin will also raise some red flags with his behavior, so here's what Y&R fans can expect. First, Lauren Fenmore Baldwin will have a hunch that Michael's up to something. The more Michael tries to cover up his true actions, the more concerned Lauren will become. Lauren can almost always tell when Michael's trying to keep something under wraps, so she may think this has Victor Newman written all over it. Since Lauren was thrilled when Michael finally retired and got away from all Victor's drama, she won't be happy about Victor pulling her husband back in. Of course, there's another messy layer to all this since Michael is employed by Kane Ashby and passing information to Victor behind his new boss's back. Lauren may not put all the puzzle pieces together just yet, but she'll gather some clues and will figure out what's really going on sooner or later. Michael will eventually have to come clean and face Lauren's fury at some point this fall. In the meantime, Billy Abbott will regroup after facing a tough setback, so that may tie in with Billy's shady Kane deal. Will Billy blame Sally Spectra for trying to ruin his plans? Regardless, Sally and Billy's romance is hanging by a thread, so there will be some difficult moments as they attempt to figure out whether it can be salvaged. Over with Audra Charles. She'll corner Nate Hastings and hope that maybe he's willing to give her one more chance. Audra will feel like they had something special, so she won't be as quick to give up on their future together. However, Nate doesn't trust Audra anymore and isn't sure that trust can ever truly be rebuilt. That's why Nate will reject Audra all over again, so she'll fail to win back her ex and will have to nail down a new path forward. Audra won't want to throw a pity party for too long, since that's time she could spend brainstorming. After Audra accepts that a Nate reunion isn't going to happen, she'll look to the future and start coming up with her next project. Naturally, there's the potential for Audra to cause more problems for Claire and Kyle Abbott, who'll remain determined to run Audra out of Genoa City if possible. That said, Kyle may view Holden Novak as the bigger threat to his relationship right now. Holden will strengthen his connection with Claire soon, thanks to an interesting invitation, one that Claire presumably won't be able to resist accepting. It'll be a way for Y&R to pull Claire even further in Holden's direction, so temptation could spell trouble for these two. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Holden's LA secret could come back to haunt him as well as Audra if Kyle digs deep, so stay tuned for updates on any news he might uncover. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, September 18th, reveal that Victoria Newman will get an emergency request while Kane Ashby dazzles Lily Winters. For starters, Kane will put all his corporate plotting on hold long enough to woo Lily, or at least try to. Y&R fans will see Kane turn on the charm and do his best to pull Lily closer. Despite the pain of the past and all Lily's lingering trust issues, she'll find herself feeling rather dazzled by Kane on Thursday's show. Kane will indeed strengthen his connection with Lily, so he should feel pretty good about that by the time their conversation is over. As for Jack Abbott, he'll have an emergency request for Victoria. Although Jack doesn't think he can be the one to rescue Billy anymore, he might decide there's still a chance Victoria could intervene. Victoria and Billy are always going to have a special bond as co-parents, not to mention they were madly in love once upon a time. Jack may not be convinced anyone else can save Billy from the road he's headed down, but he might spell out the situation to Victoria and feel like she should at least try to save him. Billy could land behind bars if he gets too tangled up in this AI software scheme with Kane, so Jack may warn Victoria about that and push her to see what she can do. Over with Mariah Copeland and Daniel Romalotti Jr. They'll have a secret meeting in the park. Mariah will convince Daniel to come see her without telling Tessa Porter what he's up to. From there, Mariah will launch a confrontation, so she may grill Daniel about what's in his heart. Once Daniel's facing Mariah's pressure, he may admit his feelings for Tessa go beyond platonic. Part of Mariah may be jealous, but another part of her may feel like Tessa could use someone like Daniel to move forward with. Mariah is still a train wreck over this whole situation with the stranger, so she may consider giving Daniel her blessing to pursue Tessa. Whatever the case, Mariah has been pushing Tessa away for a while now. Although Mariah finally came clean to Tessa about trying to kill a man, that confession isn't going to fix what's broken between them. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Tessa and Mariah have more problems ahead of them, so we'll bring you updates on any other major marriage news. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that fans will see some exes on a collision course, along with the con artist's return and one mom's fierce fight. There'll be some big twists and turns happening in the coming months, so let's talk about all the shockers that are brewing. 1. Former flames collide for drama. For starters, some exes seem poised to end up on a collision course now that Noah Newman is returning to Y&R with an exciting new storyline. Noah will land in grave danger after chaos erupts in Los Angeles, so there's the potential for this to tie in with the shady activities Audra Charles left behind in LA too. Regardless, fall preview spoilers mention Audra and Noah's history, which could certainly be revisited once he's back in Genoa City. Noah and a newly single Audra could find themselves facing some flying sparks again, especially since we know Noah will be a little edgier this time around. 2. Con artist revisits scheming roots. Next, let's talk about Chelsea Lawson, who's been frustrating Adam Newman lately with her defense of Billy Abbott. Fortunately, there'll come a point when Chelsea will fully lean into her scheming side again. Chelsea will embrace her con artist roots and start becoming a true partner in crime for Adam. We'll see Chelsea lean into all the plotting as she fully supports Adam on Team Newman, so that'll make them stronger as a couple in the months ahead. 3. Mother fights to save son and their relationship. Of course, we should also talk about one mother's fierce fight to protect her son and fix their fractured bond. Jill Abbott's return to Genoa City will shake things up in more ways than one for Billy, who's been stubborn when it comes to repairing their relationship. As far as Billy's concerned, it was the ultimate betrayal when Jill ripped Chancellor away from him and sold it to Victor Newman of all people. Billy just can't get past Jill's traitorous move, but she'll come home on a mission to change that. Jill will want to get their mother-son connection back on track, but Billy's vengeful fixation could be a problem. There are going to be some snags, as Jill works to save Billy from his worst impulses and convince him their family bond is worth fighting for. The Young and the Restless spoilers say fans will see these story developments and a whole lot more, so stay tuned for updates on all the surprising news and heated confrontations. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Victoria Newman may kiss Nate Hastings in a vulnerable moment. Will the Claire Newman crisis be what brings these exes back together? Nate has already been serving as a source of support for Victoria and Claire in the aftermath of Cole Howard's demise. Of course, Claire and Victoria have extended their support to Nate, as well as he grapples with the loss of Damian Kane. Nate and Victoria have been growing closer as friends, but there's certainly the potential for more now that they're both single. Fall preview spoilers suggest that Victoria and Nate may explore a renewed romance, so we have to consider how that might play out. Y&R fans can expect more drama for Claire in the coming weeks, so that's going to affect Victoria. Since Victoria wants to see Claire find the happiness she deserves, it'll be hard worrying about the situation in her daughter's love life. Claire was hurt deeply by all the secrets Kyle Abbott kept and the lies he told. Kyle has been trying to repair the damage, but he constantly causes more problems instead. Meanwhile, we've got Holden Novak, who can't deny his own feelings for Claire. Those feelings are going to grow stronger and could create even more romantic complications for Claire. Victoria will fret over Holden's role in Claire's world and the trouble he could drag her into. Since Nate doesn't trust Holden either, that'll give him another reason to bond with Victoria in the coming episodes. Nate's concern for Claire may touch Victoria's heart and add to the reconnection that's happening here. Victoria may find herself missing when Nate was hers to kiss, so she just might plant one on him in a vulnerable moment. All signs point to Claire heading for a crisis thanks to Holden's influence. Whether Claire gets caught up in some danger or cheats and regrets it, there are going to be some issues she didn't anticipate. Victoria's heart broke when Cole died and may break a little more as Claire struggles. Will Victoria lock lips with Nate as she tries to pick up the pieces? The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nate and Victoria will have a lot to figure out when it comes to how they feel about each other, so stay tuned for updates on any major romantic news. A long-buried secret from Sally Spectra's past has sent shockwaves through Genoa City, pushing a volatile Billy Abbott to the absolute edge and forging an alliance no one saw coming. The revelation of a short-lived, annulled marriage between Sally and Kane Ashby Billy's arch-rival, was the match that lit the fuse. Discovered by a suspicious Billy, the secret shattered his fragile trust in Sally and sent him spiraling into a reckless quest for power, making him the perfect pawn in a dangerous game orchestrated by Kane H. himself. Fearing Billy is being lured into a devastating trap, a desperate Sally turned to the one person she believed could stop him, Jack Abbott. At the Abbott mansion, she laid bare Billy's terrifying new plan. Consumed by his obsession to reclaim Chancellor Winters, Billy has partnered with Kane to acquire a malicious AI program designed to infiltrate corporate networks. His target? Newman Enterprises. Billy's endgame is not just sabotage, but blackmail. He intends to use the AI to force Victor Newman into a sponsorship deal, a move that is not only foolish, but highly illegal. The situation escalated when Sally revealed Billy's justification for his reckless actions. He had lied to her, claiming Jack had spitefully withdrawn crucial funding from Abbott Communications, thus forcing his hand. The lie was designed to manipulate Sally, turning her legitimate concerns into feelings of guilt. However, Jack quickly exposed the devastating truth. He never pulled the money. In fact, Billy had adamantly refused his brother's financial help, determined to prove he could succeed on his own terms. Faced with the reality of his brother's deceit and criminal intentions, Jack made a heart-wrenching decision. He told a distraught Sally that he could no longer save Billy from himself. "I've let him go," Jack declared, explaining that any further intervention would only enable Billy's self-destruction. His new priority is not to save Billy, but to protect the Abbott family and company from the inevitable fallout of his actions, which could very well include prison time. However, Jack isn't standing by idly. As he prepares to implement corporate safeguards, another plot is brewing. After Jack confided in Nikki Newman, she recognized Kane as a mutual threat. In a stunning turn of events, Nikki has proposed a temporary tactical alliance between her husband, Victor, and Jack. Their goal? To neutralize Kane before his schemes drag both the Newman and Abbott empires into chaos. While Billy walks a path toward ruin, his enemies are uniting. The stage is set for an explosive confrontation, and as the battle lines are drawn, the question remains: can anyone save Billy when the person he needs saving from most is himself? For fans of The Young and the Restless, Bryton James is the charismatic and often conflicted billionaire Devon Hamilton. But behind the camera, the actor's journey through love and life has been a compelling story of its own. In a recent, refreshingly candid interview, James opened up about his past, his personal growth, and why traditional milestones like marriage and fatherhood are not part of his future, a decision rooted in a difficult but transformative chapter of his life. James' most significant real-life romantic storyline was with his ex-wife, Ashley Leisinger. Theirs was a love story that began in their youth. James was just 17 when they met. The relationship faced early hurdles, including parental disapproval, which led to an initial separation. However, fate brought them back together years later as more mature individuals, seemingly ready to build a lasting future. Their reunion culminated in a 2011 wedding, an intimate ceremony officiated by James's Y&R co-star and friend, Christian LeBlanc. For a moment, it seemed like a perfect Hollywood ending. But as is often the case, the reality was far more complex. Despite their deep care for one another, the marriage lasted only 3 years. James has reflected that while love was present, fundamental compatibility was not. As they grew individually, they also grew apart, leading to the heartbreaking realization that their union was a mistake. The divorce was a painful but necessary step. This experience profoundly shaped James's perspective on commitment. Speaking with fellow soap star Maurice Benard on his YouTube series State of Mind, James revealed that he will likely never marry again. He explained that the divorce led him to reevaluate the institution of marriage itself, its history, its purpose, and its place in his own life. "I don't see marriage as something I'm interested in anymore," he admitted, echoing a sentiment felt by many who have gone through a divorce. His candidness didn't stop there. James also shared that he has long known fatherhood isn't his calling. He thoughtfully distinguished his own feelings from what he sees in others, stating, "I know a lot of men. It's just in them. They just know they want children." For him, that innate drive simply isn't present. In a world that often pressures individuals to follow a traditional path of marriage and family, James's honesty is a powerful statement of self-acceptance. His story is not one of bitterness or regret, but of resilience. He and Lazendier have admirably remained friends, a testament to the respect that survived their romantic partnership. By choosing a path free from societal expectations, Brighton James demonstrates that fulfillment comes from living authentically. His journey reminds us that the most important relationship we have is with ourselves, and true happiness is found in honoring that truth. Haley Aaron's character, Claire, has made many enemies on The Young and the Restless. One of her first rivals was her cousin Summer. The two were in a feud over Kyle's heart, but their story was cut short by Summer's departure. When and if Summer returns, Aaron wants the cousins to pick up where they left off. When Claire joined the Newman family, not everyone was welcoming. Summer showed no love to her new cousin after learning about Claire and Jordan's past crimes. Although Claire worked hard to redeem herself, that wasn't enough to sway Summer's opinion. Summer's hatred toward her cousin increased when Claire began dating Summer's ex-husband, Kyle. As Claire became a fixture in Kyle and Harrison's lives, Summer's jealousy reared its ugly head. The two women butted heads as Summer became a thorn in Claire and Kyle's relationship. Just as their rivalry was heating up, Summer left Genoa City to tend to business in Milan. Now, many are wondering when or if Summer will return. One person who is anxious for Summer to come back is Aaron. In a recent interview with Woman's World, the actress expressed her desire to see Claire and Summer renew their feud. "I hope Summer comes back to town and there's some drama there, especially because they're cousins," Aaron explained. Unlike Claire, Summer knows too much. That history that makes them so strong is also their downfall, because they've hurt each other. There's good and bad in that bag, so it could get interesting. The latest mention of Summer indicated she was enjoying life in Milan and had a new man. But when Summer returns, she might be single again, which means bad news for Claire. With Summer still in love with Kyle, she'll work her charm to win her ex-husband back. However, she'll face stiff and dangerous competition from cousin Claire. The Young and the Restless teases heartbreak ahead as Michael's secrecy takes a dangerous toll. His truce with Phyllis, hidden from Lauren, sparks questions about loyalty. With Kane's influence and Victor's manipulation growing, fans fear a shocking split. Could Michael lose both his marriage and career? Michael's decision to align with Kane already looks disastrous. While Kane offered him a job as a fixer, the choice came with heavy strings attached. Lauren had been clear. She wanted Michael to distance himself from Victor and avoid dangerous compromises. Yet, Michael is doing the opposite. This secrecy creates cracks in their foundation. Lauren has always been Michael's anchor, but trust is eroding quickly. Keeping her in the dark about Kane and Phyllis could trigger the end of their strong marriage. Soap marriages rarely survive repeated betrayal, and this one is reaching its limit. Michael's truce with Phyllis feels like another mistake waiting to explode. Kane pushed for their reconciliation, but Phyllis is far too savvy to let such a move pass unnoticed. She knows Michael's motivations run deeper than friendship, and she may push for answers. If Phyllis uncovers the truth, she could easily expose Michael to Lauren. This would leave Lauren blindsided and furious. Phyllis thrives on drama, and this revelation could shift power dynamics across Genoa City. Once again, Michael's inability to stay transparent could ruin his life. Victor remains the puppet master orchestrating chaos. He positioned Michael to gain leverage on Kane, manipulating him with promises and pressure. Though Michael believes he is protecting Lauren, the opposite may be true. Victor thrives when others are vulnerable, and Michael is walking straight into his trap. Lauren's discovery that Michael still operates as Victor's pawn could break her completely. After years of standing by his side, she won't accept being betrayed again. If Victor remains in control, Michael risks losing far more than his wife. He could lose his entire reputation. Lauren and Michael are one of the Young and the Restless most beloved couples. Their love has survived countless storms, but this one feels different. Their upcoming 20th wedding anniversary was expected to be a celebration. Instead, it now looks like heartbreak could define the milestone. If Michael's lies unravel, the fallout could devastate fans who rooted for their marriage for decades. Soap history proves that even strong couples fall apart under too much strain. This may be the storyline that breaks Michael and Lauren forever. The Young and the Restless continues to stir tension as Michael hides dangerous truths. His secret alliance with Phyllis, Kane's manipulation, and Victor's schemes all threaten his marriage. Fans fear Michael could lose everything, including Lauren. Stay tuned to Soap Opera Daily for updates as this drama intensifies. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Victor Newman always seems to win. It seems it's about time for the patriarch to face a loss, especially with all the interference in his family members' lives. Victoria Newman gets an urgent plea from Jack Abbott. By the end of the AI storyline, could Victor end up being betrayed by the one family member he trusts the most? Keep reading, and let's talk about the possibilities. Fans know that Victor and others have become aware of Kane Ashby's AI plan. Apparently, the tycoon plans on using the system to take over any company's systems, including their financials. This must be how Kane amassed so much wealth during his missing 6 years. Victor is trying to make alliances and some bold moves. While the mustache has never truly been defeated before, could there be a twist coming up? The man has tried to unite his family, but there could be a complication. Over with Jack, he is blindsided by Billy Abbott's sudden move. While the patriarch doesn't know the details about why the party was canceled, he has withdrawn his funding for Abbott Communications. Jack and Diane Jenkins Abbott were both flabbergasted when Billy offered to return the funds, as if he no longer needed the money. With Jack fearing for Billy's future, and Sally Spectra breaking down to Diane, there will be a twist. It is stated that Jack turns to Victoria for help. While Victoria doesn't want to get involved in the war between the Newman and Abbotts, she also seems to know her father best. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Jack asking Victoria for help could come with some moral dilemmas. During a recent conversation, Victoria admitted to Claire Grace Newman that she wasn't surprised about Victor's secret deal with Kyle Abbott. While Victor and Nikki Newman have always seemed to trust Victoria the most, could she be the person that betrays them in the end? Victoria is getting tired of her father never learning his lessons. At the same time, Jack will be asking her to turn on her own father, the man who has always supported her. If this happens, Victoria knows that there will be hell to pay. At the same time, even Nikki is getting fed up with her husband's antics. Is it possible that Victoria and Nikki could both help Jack stop Victor once and for all? Young and the Restless weekly spoilers for September 15th through the 19th. See Jack Abbott issuing a very stern warning, and Phyllis Summers is tattling on somebody, but the question is, who? On Monday, September 15th, we've got Season 52, Episode 240 of Y&R. Claire Grace Newman tells Victoria Newman about Kyle Abbott's $5 million contract he signed with Victor Newman, and her mom defends him. Victoria gives Kyle credit and thinks that this proves his devotion to Claire, him taking this big risk. But at the same time, Victoria is not happy to hear that her dad was involved in this. Claire wonders if Kyle is obsessed with her, jealous, and just being too much because of how he reacted to her being friends with Holden Novak. Claire says she never got crazy like that, even when Summer Newman was around all the time, talking to Kyle and being friendly, and sometimes more than friendly. Victoria advises Claire to give Kyle a chance, and she shocks Claire because she says Kyle told her he's never felt this way about anybody, not even Summer. Victoria advises Claire to think very carefully and maybe give Kyle a chance. Meanwhile, Kyle runs into Nate Hastings over at Crimson Lights. Kyle is worried that Nate is going to punch him in the face, but Nate says no. They are both Audra Charles's victims. Nate then says that Claire honestly is the real victim. Kyle asks him about Holden and says that Holden has glommed onto Claire. Nate says he thinks Holden is very sketchy and still very much into Audra. Kyle talks about Audra causing issues for him and Claire, but he hopes they can get past it. Nate says that people warned him about Audra, and he should have listened, But now Nate says he is completely done with her for good. That's when Victoria and Claire join them, and Nate takes off with Victoria. Claire asks if Kyle was talking to Nate about Holden. Kyle is deflecting. This is a touchy subject for her, and he knows that. Kyle just doesn't want Holden hurting Claire, but she says she can protect herself. The person she's not sure she can trust is Kyle. He's begging Claire to do a reset and let them start over as a couple. Michael Baldwin talks with Phyllis and says he took a job with Kane. She guesses that Michael will be Kane's fixer since he already has a lawyer, Amanda Sinclair. Michael talks about putting everything behind them, about how mad Phyllis was when he was defending Sharon Newman. Michael then says that Lauren Fenmore doesn't know he's working for Kane and that he's keeping it on the down low. That's when Phyllis starts to smell a rat. Michael starts making excuses about protecting Lauren and plausible deniability. But Phyllis calls BS and tells Michael if he doesn't come clean, she's going to go to Kane and tell him that Michael cannot be trusted and is up to something shady. Meanwhile, Lily Winters talks to Devin Hamilton, wondering if her kids will forgive Kane. Devin wants to know if the video Kane made softened up the kids, or if it softened up Lily. She thinks that Kane has mishandled everything. Lily thinks it might just be better if the kids cut Kane out of their lives permanently. Devin says, "Been there, done that, did it with Tucker McCall." Lily wonders if Devin might be encouraging her about Kane, but Devin says, No, this is just a conversation." Lily vows that she is done with her ex-husband on Young and the Restless. Amanda talks to Kane about him letting Billy Abbott have the AI program and whether that's dangerous. Kane says that Billy only thinks he's controlling the program. It'll be Kane secretly controlling it to do what he wants. Kane then asks Amanda if she'll get close to Lily to advocate for him. Amanda actually agrees to try. She goes over and runs into Devin and Lily. Amanda and Devin snark at each other until she asks to talk to Lily alone. Lily asks Amanda if she still misses Devin, especially since Amanda had made a crack about Abby Newman. Kane then texts Billy to ask if they are still a go. On Tuesday, September 16th, it's Season 52, Episode 241 of Young and the Restless. Sally Spectra is not going to budge with Billy. Sally refuses to endorse anything that involves Billy working with Kane, and she really wants Billy to stay away from Kane. All of this has already screwed up Abbottcom. The funding's gone, there's no company for her to run, and Billy is just gambling with both their futures, and she's not having it. Sally goes over to talk to Diane Jenkins, who asks Sally if Billy's all right. Sally says Billy is not all right. He is making the biggest mistake of his life, and I tend to agree, and he's made some big ones. Somebody pushes Kyle to take the high road. It could be Claire, Nate, Holden, or Audra. Chelsea Lawson Newman is in a tough position because of Adam Newman, and this most likely involves the Newman war with Billy, and maybe Newman Media published something else crappy about him. Wednesday, September 17th, Season 52, Episode 242 of Young and the Restless. Nikki Newman gets a warning from Jack. I think he may tell her that Victor is coming after Jack, coming after Jabot, coming after the family. He just wants to let Nikki know that he's not going to take it, that he will retaliate if Victor wants war with the family. That's what he will get. Victor is multitasking, going up against multiple enemies at once. Kane encourages Billy to patch things up with Jill Abbott. Jill is in town soon. Kane also meets with Billy this week and asks him how long he's dreamed about taking down Victor. Kane tells Billy, "Say yes and let's start dismantling Newman Enterprises." On Thursday, September 18th, Season 52, Episode 243 of Young and the Restless, Mariah Copeland meets with Daniel Romalotti behind Tessa Porter's back. She wants to know if Daniel did what she asked, and he says, "Yes, Tessa doesn't know that I'm here. He didn't tell her." Daniel and Mariah have a very tense talk, but in the end, it may be just her wanting to make sure that Tessa has a support network if Mariah is indeed going away. Like she talked about, Lily finds herself charmed by Kane, at least in a moment, but it may be a while before he gets much further than that. Jack asks Victoria for help, and this is something to do with her dad. On Friday, September 19th, it's Season 52, Episode 244 of Young and the Restless. Kane calls a meeting of all of his people. He's got Phyllis, he supposedly has Billy, supposedly has Michael, he's got Amanda. We'll see if Jill's still in town, and they have a little meeting of the minds. Lauren goes all out to impress Christine Williams about the wedding plans. Billy hits a little snag, a setback in his plan to get his hands on Chancellor. Sally is at a crossroads in her personal and professional life. She walked away from her position at Abbott Communications. She assumed that it would be something that she would build with Billy, but he's obsessed with getting his hands on Chancellor. So, what's next for Sally and the young and the restless? Sally reached her breaking point with Billy, so she stopped by to check in on him. She wanted to know how he would use the AI software against Victor to get him to give up Chancellor. Billy explained that he only threatened to use it. He doesn't know what he's going to do yet. Sally warned him about the risky decision. Then, she reminded him of why she left Marchetti. She thought they were going to build Abbott Communications together. But Jack pulled the funding, which means there's no company. Sally refused to follow Billy down this dark path. She wanted to work for the company they were going to build together. So, she walked away and left the apartment. After leaving Billy's place, Sally sat at the bar at Society and thought back on the times they shared together. She remembered the day that Billy asked her to move in with him. Once Billy got off his call with his kids, he called Sally. She answered the phone just to tell him to stop calling her, but Billy had an important question to ask. He wanted to know what exactly she was walking away from.